يلا نمد الإيد من غير كلام. أجمل الأوقات بتيجي عالبال، يبقى الحمل جبال ننساه أوام، انت وانا. ناس بترتاح لك ساعات، ياخدوا قلبك من سكات، يخطفوك من غير كلام. أصل فيك منهم حاجات وفي حياتك معدودين، اللي بكرة مكملين. ده انتوا وقت الاختلاف بنلاقيكم متفقين، حتى لوننا وشكلنا. يعني أنا شبهك تمام، وبتجمعنا حاجات حلوة أكيد. يلا نمد الإيد من غير كلام. أجمل الأوقات بتيجي عالبال، يبقى الحمل جبال ننساه أوام، انت وانا. مهما قابلنا صعب نحس بفرحة غير وياكو. كل دقيقة حلوة بيكو بتجمعنا، ايه في الدنيا يساوي لحظة معاكو؟ طول ما انتم جنبنا ايه هيهمنا؟ كان نفسنا من زمان فعلا نفرح من قلبنا. لو تبعدنا السنين خليكوا قريبين، ده احنا ما صدقنا لقينا اخيرا ناس تشبه لنا فيهم مننا. لوننا وشكلنا، يعني أنا شبهك تمام، وبتجمعنا حاجات حلوة أكيد. يلا نمد الإيد من غير كلام. أجمل الأوقات بتيجي عالبال، يبقى الحمل جبال ننساه أوام، انت وانا. لو في يوم كان الحمل عليك تقيل، وتايه لوحدك مش لاقي دليل، والهموم تخلي الليل طويل، وترميك في غربة ومرارة وويل، مد ايديك تلقى دايما حواليك هو الله قبلك حاسس بيك. إن شاء الله إن شاء الله إن شاء الله هتلاقي الطريق. إن شاء الله إن شاء الله خدتنا معاصي أو ذنوب، وخافت قلوبنا ما تقدر تتوب وتشكي الروح. ومين بالسر ليه نبوح؟ ومين اللي يقدر يداوي من الجروح؟ مد ايديك تلقى دايما حواليك هو الله قبلك حاسس بيك. إن شاء الله إن شاء الله إن شاء الله هتلاقي الطريق. إن شاء الله إن شاء الله إن شاء الله هتلاقي الطريق. قول يا الله ده عنك مش بعيد، ما تشيلش هم ولا تشعر بضيق. قول يا الله اهدي لي يا قلبي عشان اتوب، امحي الذنوب واهديني الطريق. نور لي الطريق نور لي الطريق نور لي الطريق. إن شاء الله إن شاء الله إن شاء الله هتلاقي الطريق. إن شاء الله إن شاء الله إن شاء الله هتلاقي الطريق. إن شاء الله إن شاء الله إن شاء الله هتلاقي الطريق. إن شاء الله إن شاء الله إن شاء الله هتلاقي
Assalamualaikum everyone, this is your brother Maher Zain. For my latest news and updates, join me on
بتعقد ليه في حياتك وبتحزن وتتأثر؟ لو كنت ناسي تذكر سيرتنا بينا وفكر. اسمع كلام وتفاءل، بشر ولا تنفر، ووحد الله في قلبك قادر في عسرك يسر. صلي على النبي وتبسم، ده النبي تبسم وتبسم، ده النبي تبسم. اللهم صلي عليه، صلي على النبي وتبسم، ده النبي تبسم وتبسم، ده النبي تبسم. اللهم صلي عليه. وصلي وادعي من قلبك هيبعد الهم عنك. طول ما انت مؤمن بربك هيكون عند حسن ظنك. وقول يا رب انا عبدك راضي بقضائك وعدلك. اعقلها بس وتوكل وخلي على الله وتبسم اللهم صل عليه صل على النبي وتبسم ده النبي تبسم وتبسم ده النبي تبسم اللهم صل عليه جبت اليأس منين قول لي إيمانك فين كله بأمر الله والعسر بين يسرين جبت اليأس منين قول لي إيمانك فين كله بأمر الله والعسر بين يسرين صلي على النبي وتبسم ده النبي تبسم وتبسم ده النبي تبسم اللهم صل عليه صل على النبي وتبسم ده النبي تبسم وتبسم ده النبي تبسم اللهم صل عليه مولاي صل وسلم دائما أبدا على حبيبك خير الخلق كلهم مولاي صل وسلم دائما أبدا على حبيبك خير الخلق كلهم يا نبي سلام عليك يا رسول سلام عليك يا حبيب سلام عليك صلوات الله عليك صل على النبي وتبسم ده النبي تبسم وتبسم ده النبي تبسم اللهم صل عليه قلبي المتيم كلما صلى عليك وسلم ذاق السعادة مغرما يا سيدي يا محمد صلوا عليه شافع الأمة بذكر الرسول تشحذ الهمة يا ربي بجاه النبي أزح الغمة يا ربي بجاه النبي أزح الغمة قمرون قمرون قمر سيدنا
Hello, Assalamualaikum to all participants. Here is your reminder to ensure your microphone is turned off throughout our session for today. Your microphone may be turned on to ask questions during the Q&A portion of this event later. And it will be a great pleasure to have all of you to turn on your cameras and to use the backdrop image provided to be displayed. Our event will begin shortly. Thank you for being patient.
نحتاج المال كي نزداد جمالا. جوهرنا هنا في القلب كلا لا نرضي الناس بما لا نرضاه لنا حالا. ذاك جمالنا يسمو يتعالى. كن أنت تزدد جمالا. كن أنت تزدد جمالا. لا 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 لا. أتقبلهم الناس لست أقلدهم إلا بما يرضيني كي أرضيني. سأكون أنا مثلي تماما هذا أنا فقناعتي تكفيني ذاك يقيني. لا 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 نحتاج المال كي نزداد جمالا. جوهرنا هنا في القلب كلا لا نرضي الناس بما لا نرضاه لنا حالا. ذاك جمالنا يسمو يتعالى. كن أنت تزدد جمالا. سأكون أنا من أرضى أنا لن أسعى لا لرضاهم. وأكون أنا ما أهوى أنا مالي وما لرضاهم. سأكون أنا من أرضى أنا لن أسعى لا لرضاهم. وأكون أنا ما هو أنا لن أرضى أنا برضاهم. لا 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 نحتاج المال كي نزداد جمالا. جوهرنا هنا في القلب كلا لا نرضي الناس بما لا نرضاه لنا حالا. ذاك جمالنا يسمو يتعالى. كن أنت تزدد جمالا. كن أنت تزدد جمالا.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, I am Ainul Amani and I will be your MC for today. All praise goes to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for allowing us to gather on this online platform this evening. But before we begin, I would like to invite Brother Ahmad Ubaidah bin Muhammad Anwar, our dua reciter for today, to recite a prayer to bless our evening. Please welcome.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Al-Fatihah. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. Hamdan yuwafi ni'amahu wa yukafi'u mazidah. Ya Rabbana lakal hamdu kama yanbaghi li jalali wajhika wa azimi sultanik. اللهم صل وسلم على سيدنا محمد صلاة تنجينا بها من جميع الأهوال والآفات وتقضي لنا بها جميع الحاجات وتطهرنا بها من جميع السيئات وترفعنا بها عندك أعلى الدرجات وتبلغنا بها أقصى الغايات من جميع الخيرات في الحياة وبعد الممات وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. Ya Allah, we want to express our gratitude to you for our meeting today. Make us your servants to always be grateful for your sustenance and blessings. Innaka antal wahhabur razzaq. Ya Allah, Ya Rahman, Ya Rahim. We are gathering today in Malaysia's National Day, a celebration of independence, Islam, and the nation's multicultural heritage. So please make this program run smoothly, Ya Allah. We want to gain as much knowledge as possible so that we can develop our potential until we become your servants that you approve. Grant us knowledge, Ya Allah. Illuminate our hearts with your guidance. Innaka antas sami'ul alim. Allahumma ja'al jam'ana hadha jam'an marhuma وتفرقنا من بعده تفرقا معصوما ولا تجعل اللهم فينا ولا معنا ولا من يتبعنا شرقيا ولا مترودا ولا محروما ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم والحمد لله رب العالمين.
Amin Ya Rabbal Alameen. Thank you, Brother Ahmad Ubaidah, for the wonderful dua recitation. Now, I would like to begin this journey of ours this evening with a letter written in the national language of Malaysia. For our international audience, you may refer to the screen in front of you for the translation. Hidup ini bukan sekadar ukiran senyuman. Hidup ini adalah untuk berpegang kepada agama, melengkapi adat dan resam, mematuhi undang-undang dan berjasa kepada tanah air. Saling menghormati, hidup ini bukan untuk kita sendiri. Hidup ini untuk mengukir senyuman kasih di kalangan keluarga rakyat tercinta. Semarak jiwa bangsa Malaysia, segalanya demi tanah tumpah darahku. With the theme of the 67th Malaysia's Independence Day, Jiwa Merdeka, selamat datang everyone to the Malaysia's National Day, a celebration of independence, Islam, and the nation's multicultural heritage forum discussion organized by the Academic and Intellectual Council of the Islamic Revealed Knowledge and Human Sciences Student Society. I would now like to invite Dr. Muhammad Muhyiddin, the advisor of IRKHSSS, to give his welcoming speech. Please welcome.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. A'udzu billahi minasy syaithanir rajim. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. Wassalatu wassalamu ala nabiyil amin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Amma ba'd. Thank you very much, Sister Ainul Lamani, Master of Ceremony of today's forum. And first of all, I would like to welcome our today's chairperson of the session, Dr. Fatima Al-Aqqas from IRKHSSS, and our speakers, Brother Adlan and Brother Hushama and Brother Daniel. So, and all the participants, students, and I'm not sure if there any external participants joining to this session or not. I would like to welcome all of you to this very important and meaningful forum entitled Celebration of Independence, Islam and the Nation's Multicultural Heritage. This forum is organized by intellectual and academic and intellectual council of the IRKHSSS. So I'd like to thank all the committee members, including IRKHSSS and subcommittee members who work hard to put this forum into action and to organize this forum successfully. And you can see that many participants, mashallah, joining from all over our university, I guess. So thank you very much. And to talk about today's forum, and as we are approaching to the celebration of the Independence Day of Malaysia, this is very important to demonstrate our love for the country and patriotism which is also certified by Islam and legislated by the Quranic teachings and the practices of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. I would just like to share maybe 1 or 2 minutes, and then I will hand over to the MC, inshallah. So, how Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam demonstrated his belonging and sense of patriotism and also the love for the country. We all know when he was in Mecca, and he loved Mecca deeply and strongly, and when he was commanded by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to migrate to Medina, he was like looking at Mecca and saying very strong message that we all know. He was saying that I would haven't migrated to Medina if those transgressors and unbelievers and kuffar would haven't forced me to do so, and also if there was no any commandment from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And when he came to Medina, and also that Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam made Medina as his homeland, and he used to pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala saying that Allahumma habib ilayna al-Madina, Allahumma habib ilayna al-Madina ka hubbina Makkah aw ashad. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala increase our love for Medina as we love Makkah, or more than that. So then that was his emotion and feelings, as we know, for the homeland. But after that, Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam's patriotism and love for the country extended beyond these feelings and emotions. This is through his actions and his activities for the growth and development of Medina. This is what we know. So in my brief message, what I'm going to convey to you all, that love for the country, for homeland, and also patriotism is part of our religion. This is what Islam emphasized and gives importance to. So how can we demonstrate our love for the country and demonstrate our patriotism? We need to work for the growth of Malaysia, for the country, and for the development of the country. This is how we can do. We need to put our thoughts, our ideas, our knowledge into actions, and we need to identify the opportunities where we can contribute to the country's development and growth. And this is not to also forget that whatever we do for the country, for the nation, for the well-being of human beings is also virtuous things, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will grant if we do with good intention, and he will give us virtues, inshallah. So dear brothers and sisters, let's not forget to contribute to the Malaysia's growth and development in all aspects, including economic, political sector, and education sector, research and publication, and so on. And also, we should not do anything that goes beyond the righteousness. That means we should not commit any vices or any wrongdoings or any transgression. If we do so, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, then you need to wait for the consequences and punishment from me. That is so severe punishment. This is what mentioned Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned in the Quran. ظهر الفساد في البر والبحر. In this Quranic verse, Allah mentioned very clearly. So we need to avoid vices and wrongdoings and anything that violates a country's stability, our national peace and harmony. And we need to also respect others, like different races, religions, and people who are practicing and living here in Malaysia, as Malaysia is very peaceful and multicultural, multiracial, multi-religious country. This is very proved that this is a very peaceful and harmonious country. So we need to work for that, so that our stance of Malaysia and position of Malaysia can go beyond this region and can take a part in the global stage, inshallah. So with that, I conclude my opening remarks here, and thank you very much again. And my sincere thanks again to the chairperson, Dr. Fatima, and all other speakers and organizing committee members and the participants. وما علينا إلا البلاغ. والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
Thank you, Doctor, for the warm welcome. Now, moving on to our IIUM theme slogan. IIUM, being the abbreviation for the International Islamic University of Malaysia, has utterly inspired the trajectory of our event today. I standing for Islam, the second I standing for independence, U for unity, and M as to highlight the multicultural heritage which marks the diversity of this forum. And Jiwa Merdeka, the theme of the 67th Malaysia's Independence Day, translates to the soul of independence, whereas according to the Institute Kefahaman Islam Malaysia, Jiwa Merdeka is to commemorate. An independent soul means to have an identity, and a strong self-identity as an independent and sovereign Malaysian forms the words Jiwa Merdeka. Now moving on to the introduction of the panelists for today, starting with our moderator, Dr. Fatima Alatas, a senior lecturer of sociology and a coordinator of Unit for Social Issues and Development Advocacy and Research at the International Islamic University of Malaysia. Her areas of interest include inequalities, gender, family, and work. Dr. Alatas is also involved in a few research projects which focuses mostly on inequalities in menstrual health within the Malaysian context with several other researchers. Dr. Fatima is also engaged in grassroots initiatives to address inequalities within the local context, such as advising for Peduli Merah, a movement to address period poverty, and a recently appointed board member for Protect and Save the Children, an organization aimed to ensure the safety of children in Malaysia. Dr. Atas hopes to continue advocating and engaging on these issues on public platforms to draw attention to the social perspective. Moving on to our first speaker for today, Brother Adlan Shahmi bin Azhan, the chairperson for the Quran Sunnah Students Association IIUM. Our second speaker, Brother Atif Husama bin Husaini, the chairperson for History and Civilization Student Society IIUM. And our last speaker for today, Brother Muhammad Daniel Iman bin Saiful Bahri, chairperson for Sociology and Anthropology Student Society Association IIUM. Now I would like to pass the session to Dr. Fatima Latas as our moderator to begin her session. Thank you for your time.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Wassalatu wassalamu ala ashrafil anbiya'i wal mursalin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. First of all, thank you so much, Ms. Chairperson or MC Staino, Honorable Dr. Muhyiddin. Thank you so much for the warm welcome and also for a very invigorating start to today's session. I'm very excited to be here because I'm not teaching this short semester, so I miss students. And it's always nice to meet students. I hope you're all having a fruitful short semester. It is such a good time. So thank you so much for coming on, even though it is in the evening. How are you all doing today? Maybe we can see some emojis that you can put on. How are you all feeling? All right. Thank you so much. So I was actually invited to moderate this session, and it made me also reflect on it. So I am grateful to the organizers for inviting me. It made me think about national days, and August is not just a national day for Malaysia, not just the Independence Day for Malaysia. Malaysia Day is in September, but a lot of other countries and states also celebrate Independence Day and National Day in August. So I think even if we have international students, do we have international students today? Dr. Muhyiddin does not count as one. Do we have any international students joining us today? No, unfortunately not today. So inshallah, Malaysian students, we have to work harder to ensure that we bring along our international students for our next programs, inshallah. So as I'm thinking about this, it gives me a lot of optimism in thinking about this program today and how the youth are having this program, because sometimes you do not feel empowered enough, or maybe you are empowered or you are excited and passionate to give back to the community and the society, and finding your roles and positions as a citizen of a particular state or country, as Malaysians, for example. But maybe you need to take some time to think about how can you best serve your purpose. We are so fortunate to be in IIUM because we are constantly reminded of good virtues and values such as Rahmatan lil Alameen, right, in terms of serving around us as Khalifa of Allah. So how do we best serve those around us? And as we are existing within a particular context of the nation state, then we serve our nation state, which is the country that we live in and that we participate in. So I think it is really interesting to see the panels today, Brother Husama, Brother Adlan, and Brother Daniel, I think coming from different contexts. So I'm also excited to hear what our students have to say. And maybe we can also have some discussions. So I hope that participants and students out here listening have some feedback and comments too, because in the end of the day, youth are not just leaders of tomorrow, youth are leaders of today. You're already here, you're already ready, right? At least in the Malaysian context, all of you can exercise your right to vote, right? So these are responsibilities and ownerships to our roles. So these are exciting times that we live in terms of thinking of social change and how connected we are. So sometimes because of our ability to connect all the time to everyone, everywhere, our positioning in terms of our cultural and social context needs a little bit of reviving. So perhaps today's session will be an opportunity for us to do that. Okay, so I think to start with, without further ado, I have my first question for Brother Husama. So Brother Husama, maybe you can give us some opinion and also your perspective on why is it important for tertiary education students or university students to understand about Malaysia's independence. What is the importance of this knowledge and understanding? I love your emoji.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. I hope I am audible to all of you.
You are.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Moderator. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Alhamdulillah. Wassalatu wassalamu ala asyrafil anbiya'i wal mursalin. So, thank you for Doctor as a moderator for giving me the chance to share with all the viewers, all of the students about my opinion regarding this question. So, it's irony that for me that the history of our independence is common things to know, especially as a Malaysian. But somehow we just have a knowledge, at least just a surface of the history, not the deeper. But it's okay because not everyone have the access for the information. At least before this, but right now we already have the internet to access this. And why for tertiary student especially to have a deep understanding about Malaysian independence, I make 3 points that I will share with all of you today. So without wasting our time, let's move on to our first point, which is the first point is it foster a deep sense of national identity. You know, just a little bit definition that what is a national identity? Identity is more that a sense, identity of a citizen as a certain nation, or we can say a sense of belonging. and why it foster a deep sense of national identity. So before that, I would like to say that Malaysia is somehow a unique country, especially for the Commonwealth, that the nation just free from the colonizer, which is British, because unlike other country, we got our independence not as a nation state, I could say, not as a Malay state, not as a just only a Malay people, and this is a nation of the Malays. No, but instead there were three majority races that settled in Malaysia before, one in Malaya before independence, and which is, as you know, Malays, the Chinese, and the Indians. And after Sabah and Sarawak joined Malaya and form a federation of Malaysia in 1963, there is more ethnic that made up the foundation of Malaysia, such as Melanau, Kadazan, Iban, and others. This shows that Malaysia is a multi-racial country that form a homogeneous society. And what I would like to point out in this is a homogeneous society. So how should the people, especially the student, know about independence? Is actually we build our nation as a one, not just a certain race that have the has a higher status, or this race have the more privilege or more rights. Even though in the our constitution has set the rights for the Malays, but that doesn't mean that the Malaysia is belong to the Malay people only, because unlike other country, we already have we already have the other ethnic that reside in Malaya. Yes, we can say that this all because of the colonizer, because the British that brought them in Malaya. But right now, what I would like to highlight here is we have to a deep sense of national identity, not as a Malay, not as a proud Malay, but as a Malaysian. And in Malaysia, there's not only the Malays, but also the Chinese, the Indians, and so on. And supposedly there is no such thing that the Malays are higher than other races just because we were the indigenous people of this peninsula. This is not just about the Malays only. That's my opinion. That's the first point. And for the second, when we have a deep understanding about Malaysia independence, it cultivates a spirit of unity and tolerance. As I tell all of you, that when we know about our nationality, when we know that what is Malaysia actually, is it foster it became a product of diverse communities that come together for a common goal. Studying this period, for me, reveals the power of unity in diversity. Even though we are not in the same religion, or we have distinct culture, but that doesn't mean that we cannot be a harmonious society. And this unity, that does not mean that other groups must submit or follow the other culture in order to unite, but rather we have respect each other and deeper understanding of the culture. So we know we know and we respect them, and we can also learn about them in order to have a deeper understanding. And by doing that, actually we can start to tolerate each other, and at the same time respect the culture, that the many culture that exists in Malaysia. Because why? How can a nation prosper when their citizens are still bickering with each other by claiming that, oh, my race is more higher than you, or this race just afraid that their culture will be compromised. If this mentality, the colonial mentality, I could say, that still exists, I don't know how our country, Malaysia, can develop more or can be prosper. And lastly, is the last point is to equip students with critical thinking skill. Yes, when we have a deep understanding about the independence, not only just important dates, but why, the reason, the what and the why. Analysis, it helps them to develop the ability to question, analyze, and form their own opinions. This is crucial especially in navigating the complexities of the modern world. And also it allows us to learn from our past and mistake and not repeat the bad history again. And in conclusion, I hope in conclusion, understanding Malaysia independence is not just an academic pursuit. It's a pathway to becoming a responsible and engaged and patriotic citizen. That's all for me. Thank you.
Thank you, Brother Usama. This is a good start into thinking about our roles, maybe your roles as students, not my roles anymore. But I like that you highlighted about our ability to think about things more critically, because most of us would have studied sejarah in school or history in school. And sometimes as we learn through things through an academic way in school, we may not have time to appreciate. But as you grow into youth, your capacity and your development of your akal in terms of thinking of your roles and how you situate yourself in the world changes. And so you have more time to reflect on it. And as we go through life, not just for you, but for all of us, we will have different stages in our life where we must rethink about things and to re-understand. And as you become tertiary education students, the expectations for IRKHS students is your ability also to think beyond what is on the surface level, right? To understand also power dynamics, to understand also what happens post-independence in terms of where we are as a society and why there are certain nuances or certain types of dynamics that have been created in terms of our ethnic relations and why some things are visible and some things are invisible. So there's actually a lot of questions for you to be asking at this stage of your life as tertiary education students, because indeed you will be at the forefront. And these are questions that you can resolve and can help you at the personal level, but also in thinking about how you will serve the community and society at the next level, inshallah, as you go on. All right, so we move along. I really like that you brought on just now on our heterogeneous nature of our society and how we're different and celebrating some of our differences also. So I would like to bring forward Brother Adlan to help answer the second question. So for the listeners, the committee has, or the organizers have kindly prepared these questions. But maybe to make things more interesting, sometimes I should add some of my own questions to get it a little bit more spicy. So I think for Brother Adlan, the question is already on screen. So you can see, how do we see, or how do you see, or your opinions on Islamic values such as justice and compassion in terms of influencing societal norms and interactions within the Malaysian society? So we know that Malaysian society is very heterogeneous. We have different ethnic groups speaking different languages, practicing different cultures, and some of us have different belief systems, right? So what is the Islamic perspective on this, and what are some values? So Brother Adlan, if you are here, we would love to hear from you.
Yes, I'm here. Right. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Is my voice clearly here?
Yes, you are heard.
Alhamdulillah. Bismillah, alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin, alhamdulillahi wa kafa, wassalatu wassalamu ala ashrafil anbiya'il mustafa, wa ala alihi wa sahbihi, wa ala ali Muhammadi, wassafa wal wafa. Alhamdulillah, first of all, I would like to thank Dr. Fatimah for moderator this evening, and to all the committees also, the MC. And actually, I feel a bit nervous because usually in forum we have the panelists from lecturer and moderators from student, but this evening we have the kind of differences that brought by IRKHSSS. This is a good start, and inshallah we will pursue and continue this niche of forum, inshallah. So to answer the question given by Doctor, actually I think all of us are familiar with the word justice or compassion because nowadays with our current government, our current prime minister, oftenly said and mentioned about justice and compassion, keadilan and rahmah, and so on in his speech, and to practice these both values in his system, in his government, our Malaysia government now. Then when we talk about justice, or in Arabic we call it adi, keadilan, and compassion, rahmah. So basically we will uh, arrive to the ayah from the Quran. It's been Surah Al-Ma'idah, "I'dilu wa aqrabu lit-taqwa," be justice because it is closer to taqwa, pious. In the hadith from Abu Hurairah, muttafaqun alayh, "Man la yarham la yurham," whoever not be compassion to others will not be compassion also. So if we go back to our country, Malaysia, we have to know that as we know also, Malaysia is a pluralistic country, which means negara majmuk, and with a multicultural and multi-religious concept since its establishment on September 16, 1963, following the signing of the agreement on July 9th of the same year. But historically, this occurred when all the races residing in our country, starting from the era of Western colonization, especially the three main races, Malay, Chinese, and Indian, who agreed to build a independent country together, nation, based on this value, especially justice and tolerance. And naturally, all humans, people, tends towards positive values in their daily lives, regardless of belief, race, or cultural background. And undoubtedly, these good values result in universal harmony and peace in all levels of societal interaction for me. And Islam itself, as we know, is a religion inherently based on the element of well-being, because the root word of Islam itself is come from the word salam, which means peace, right? And referring to the moral framework in every human and divine transaction of muamalat. And this is for me indeed the word view that brought by Islam itself, as stated by Prophet Muhammad SAW in the hadith narrated by Imam Ahmad from Abu Hurairah, "Innama bu'istu liutimma makarimal akhlaq atau liutimma salihal akhlaq," which means I was only sent to perfect good character among human beings. And when we're reflecting this on Malaysia's history, previously known as Tanah Melayu, right, or even early in the 15th century during the Malacca Sultanate era, we can realize that it was during this period that Islam spread in this region with the Islamization of Parwaswara, or his other name is Merdeka Iskandar Shah, followed by subsequent rulers like Sultan Muzaffar Shah, Sultan Mansur Shah, and others, who allowed and encouraged the further spread of Islam in Semenanjung or Malay, Nusantara, and the region around it. And for me, this certainly the spread of Islam, this encompass all aspect of life, because that is what is mean by ad-din, which is the organizer, or what we call as regulator, regulator of human life in all aspect, including aspect of devotion to God, ibadah, economics, and social issues, and politics. And this aspect also are all undoubtedly rooted in Islamic principles such as justice, compassion, tolerance, and others. And it is no wonder that these values have continue to inherit the society atmosphere and system present in our beloved Malaysia. And these two values that we want to focus on this evening are justice, al-adl, and compassion, al-rahmah, which are two values that are not unfamiliar with Malaysia's current perception. And if we talk about these values, let's put aside the political sides for now, because we know that there are parties named justice, keadilan, amanah, and so on, which carry the agenda of rahmah, and all the values related to it. But I want to invite all of all of us, to realize that this country is one where the majority are Muslims, and these values are foundationally in our daily life, and both individually and within a broader social context. And within the context of Malaysian society, we can see justice practiced through the legal system, economics practice, and also social relations among various ethnics and religions. And we also need to understand that justice is putting something in its rightful place, or in Arabic, we call as wada'a ash-shay' fi haqqihi, when this is mentioned by Imam Ibn Aqil in his book Al-Wadih fi Usul Fiqh. So I want to emphasize more regarding to social relation, that justice is highlighted through efforts to prevent racial and religious discrimination in Malaysia as a multiracial country that strives to maintain harmony by emphasizing social justice, where each ethnic group and religion is given equal rights and opportunities. Although we have the special right for Malay or Bumiputra and so on, but the justice is there. Then yes, we understand and acknowledge that this country is predominantly Malay Muslim, and the majority ethnic group is granted special rights as actually in the country's constitution. But however, other ethnic group and religions will not be sidelined and are generally treated equally as promoted in Islam itself. And Islam itself condemns effort of discrimination and bias, even when it involves Muslims and non-Muslim. Whoever deserves will be granted what is rightfully theirs. And this is proven by the provisions in the Sahifah Madinah or Medina Constitution in the era of Prophet Muhammad SAW, which granted freedom of religion without restriction, disturbance, or any coercion. And we rarely hear of major conflicts causing widespread chaos in the country aside from the dark tragedy of May 13th in the past of Malaysia. And yes, there are minor crimes and criminal and so on, but they do not affect, for me, they do not affect the unity and tolerance and compassion values among our people, our society in this country today. And this shows that Malaysia itself still adhere to the principles of the, we call as Rukun Negara, our Rukun Negara, which emphasize more to politeness and decency, which is kesopanan dan kesusilaan in our Rukun Negara. And these principles are, for me, themselves imbued with the values of compassion and kindness, influencing the civilization of this country. And yeah, although these values are applied in many aspects of life in Malaysia, including the laws and economics perspective, challenges still exist. And the issues such as economic injustice, discrimination, and administrative corruption or systemized corruption, as mentioned by our Prime Minister before, indicate that there is still room for improvement for us in practicing justice and compassion comprehensively. So, however, awareness of the importance of these values is increasing, especially among the younger generation who are more open to dialogue and seeking more inclusive and fair solution. So, in conclusion, I would like to emphasize that our country, since its establishment or since uh, Malacca certainly also, we have practiced all the good values, the Islamic values in our daily life. And we can see today we are now in how many place in our Malaysia, in this negeri, states and so on. And we also pray to Allah SWT for giving us the peace always until this country will be the best country in practicing Islamic values and being the examples for all country, Muslim country and all the entire world, inshallah. So I think this is just so far from me. So I will be back to our moderator, Dr. Fatima. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Brother Adlan. A lot of important reminders also, I think, can be extracted from what you've mentioned. And I wanted to highlight that, but also I wanted to address, yes, this is very interesting for me to be able to be the moderator instead of the speaker. So very refreshing because when I moderate, usually I don't get to moderate students. So I'm really excited. Although you are nervous, I'm excited. So I hope that calms our speakers, our panelists down, because I think it is valuable for me to hear from you and also to learn from you of your opinions and what matters to all of you. So I hope that later on we will also be able to hear more from our participants. I wanted to highlight a little bit on your explanation on justice and compassion that I think maybe is an underlying message, but maybe to highlight it, I think we all have a responsibility to exercise justice and compassion, right? To make it a more active understanding of justice and compassion so that we may continue on the peace and harmony that we are able to experience in Malaysia. It is not just at the state level, it is not just in the institutions, but from an Islamic perspective, it always starts from us first, right? How do we exercise justice and compassion to others? Are we kind to our neighbors, right? So very small, simple things. Are we nice to our neighbors who are non-Malays, for example? Do we care about them? What kind of thoughts do we have about them, right? So just starting with ourselves and our thoughts and understanding, and then extending it a little bit. Do we have activities that show that we are compassionate and that we do justice? When an injustice happens in front of us, do we do something to correct it? So just thinking about where we are and how we can expand, and just also thinking perhaps in terms of the work that you do at the university, how often do you deal with topics that relate to others who may be different than you in a compassionate and in a way that is thinking about justice, right? Do you ever learn about topics relating to others who are different in a way that is compassionate? Do we have talks or do we have student activities that demonstrate this value? So these are things that we can actually do in terms of where we are in our roles to ensure that we also take part in maintaining and even improving what we already have, what good we already have in Malaysia. Okay, so moving on to our third panelist. Our third panelist comes from Sokasa, which is also from my department. So I'm not sure if Brother Daniel feels more relief or stress, but I hope he feels more relief having me here. So the third question goes to Brother Daniel, which is very Soka appropriate questions, right? So you can also see, I like that students are coming from different departments, so that we can see also where you're coming from and what kind of training that you are going through. So for Brother Daniel, as students of diverse backgrounds in IIUM, and I feel that this includes international and local students, not just local students, right? How do we, or how can we better appreciate and celebrate Malaysia's diversity? So we've heard a lot of the different types of diversity. So how can we do this better, Brother Daniel?
Okay, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Am I audible, everyone? I need to see some thumbs up. All right. So, okay, I can see a few thumbs up from all of you. Okay. First of all, thank you to our moderator today, our respected Dr. Fatimah. My fellow brothers, Brother Adlan and Brother Husama, and also to all who's with us today. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and good evening. Okay, so I believe it's only 3 days until our 67th Independence Day, right? On this Saturday, 31st August. And I hope and believe that everyone is excited to celebrate it. And so far as I can see, there are lots of preparations and also rehearsals, road closures for them to prepare for Independence Day celebration. So yes, I can see the spirit of patriotism in our country so far. Okay, so without further ado, I will continue answering my question, answering the question given to me. Okay, so as students of diverse backgrounds at IIUM, how can we better appreciate and celebrate Malaysia's diversity? Okay, so Malaysia is characterized by a multi-ethnic society comprising Malays, Chinese, Indians, and also other various indigenous groups. So each group has distinct social institutions, including family structures, educational systems, and also religious practices. So from my part, I will bring sociological analysis, of course, and sociological analysis focuses more on how these institutions contribute to the maintenance of cultural identity and social cohesion. So to answer the question, okay, to celebrate diversity in Malaysia, we must first celebrate our differences. Okay, we have lots of differences as a diverse community, as a diverse society. So the various differences that we can see, obviously, including our language, and most obviously now, and people been talking about it, is our cuisine, of course. Okay, so as we all know, we often hear people speaking in different languages in our country. Okay, but now we can see not just languages from Malay or Chinese or Indian, but also other languages as well. Okay, so I know that we often hear Malay language spoken, Mandarin, and also Tamil, but there are also for Malays also other that there are other dialects, for example Kelantanese dialects. Okay, for Chinese also have Cantonese, and for Indian also have other than Tamil, of course, like Punjabi. All right, so celebrating differences, like differences in language and trying to learn it, is also one way of celebrating diversity in our country. Okay, so as someone who lives in Malaysia, you can try to understand other languages. Okay, not that I ask people to learn about, like, learn Chinese, learn all of Chinese, Mandarin, Cantonese, or what. But if you can learn Mandarin, then you can try. Okay, so that you can feel the differences. Okay, to celebrate it. Okay, not just as we can hear for Brother Husama just now, also talk about how do we understand it. but now we need to celebrate it as well, okay? Because celebrating the differences is how we can better appreciate, okay, the diversity in our country. Right. So as I mentioned just now, our country is also famous for its rich cuisine, okay, consisting of different tastes from different cultures. Okay, yes. I know that we are indeed famous for our cuisine like nasi lemak, but also we are known for others as well, like Hokkien mee, nasi kandar, right? Okay. I can list down all of other things, but I'm afraid that will exceed my time limit for um, time allocated for me to speak. Yeah. Okay, I can see some interaction here. Nasi kerabu, yes. Okay, nasi kerabu, and also lots of cuisines. Okay, all that shows our diversity, that proves our diversity in our country. Okay, not just among races, but also among cultures. Okay, so okay, what I mean by celebrating diversity, this is a small thing that you can try. So before this, of course, we have eaten Hainanese chicken rice, Hokkien mee, nasi kandar, obviously, right? So I believe all of you really love foods like nasi kandar, okay, paratha, dosai, and also other cuisine as well. Okay, I believe you have eaten those in your daily lives, but have you ever tried to think like, oh, I'm eating this to celebrate the differences of eating this food, because this food is not from your culture, okay, not from originally from your culture, but you are trying the difference of your culture's cuisine with other cultures' cuisine, for you to celebrate the differences between the differences between your cuisines, right? So that is how you can try to change, okay, how you think about diversity in our country. Okay, I know that yes, we usually just eat those, but we never thought of oh, I'm eating this, and this is not from my culture. So after this, you may try to do those little things. Okay, like you think, oh, I'm celebrating the differences. Okay, the differences of this cuisine. Okay, this is different from how your culture. Okay, so all right. Okay, enough talking about cuisines. Okay, I'm afraid that all of you getting hungry to get some food after hearing lots of foods that I mentioned. So I will further elaborate based on sociological perspective. So to understand how individuals relate to their own ethnic groups and to other ethnic groups is very crucial. Okay, this involves studying intergroup relationships, including cooperation, competition, and conflict. So to celebrate diversity, also we can examine how different groups interact within their public spaces and institutions, including workplaces, neighborhoods, yeah, of course, and educational institutions. Furthermore, we can analyze the degree of social integration versus social segregation and the factors influencing these dynamics. So we must know how ethnic groups interact and negotiate their identities within the broader national context. Okay, then we can explore issues related to ethnic pride, discrimination, and the dynamics of ethnic-based political parties. All right, therefore, we should investigate how Malaysia's diverse ethnic groups contribute to and shape national identity, right? Then also we can examine the existing concept, like the concept of Bangsa Malaysia, which means Malaysian nationhood and its impact on national cohesion. All right, so in sociology, we have three perspectives, okay, or three views, which are functionalism, conflict, and also symbolic interactionism. So based on these theories, we can define, there are based on these stories, we could divide it on how we are going to celebrate diversity on Malaysia. Okay, So based on functionalism, we can explore how Malaysia's diversity contributes to social stability and cohesion. Okay, consider how different cultural practices and institutions function to maintain social equilibrium. From conflict theory, we can use conflict theory to examine the sources of social tension and inequality among different ethnic groups and analyze issues such as economic disparity, political representation, and also access to resources. Okay, for symbolic interactionism, we can study how individuals from different ethnic backgrounds interact and communicate, focusing on how cultural symbols like language, like our national flags, right? Jalur Gemilang, and also ritual shapes their social interactions and perceptions. Okay, so I guess that's all from me for the first question for me and the third question for this forum. Okay, inshallah. So I will pass it back to our moderator, Dr. Fatimah. Inshallah.
Thank you, Brother Daniel. You have certainly made me hungry. But I think I really like that you highlighted the point of how easy it is for us to try out new cuisine. And I think this is also quite unique to this generation, where if you go to the mall or if you go anywhere, or even if you go to Pasar Malam, right, it's not just local Malaysian cuisine or local Malay cuisine. We have a variety of cuisine, and for IIUM students especially, you do not have any worry about trying out new types of food, right? There's the shawarma, there's always like Korean chicken, or now they have you have all of these different types of food, and how easy it is actually for, I think, the younger generation, especially those of us who live in urban areas, to openly try out new types of food, right? And we don't really think a lot about those types of food, or we don't make stereotypes about types of food. We don't make assumptions about types of foods, right? We sort of enjoy the difference. And when we see something new, we have a spirit of curiosity. And I think that's a very interesting take and understanding and learning to appreciate and celebrate diversity of others. And IIM students in particular have a lot of opportunity to do this, right? When you come into class, you have friends, or the first time you start CFS or IIM Gombak campus, you are already placed in a mahala full of people who are different from you. Either they come from different types of families, coming from different states, they come from different countries, and learning how to navigate that, and also realizing things that you were taught but maybe might not be true, and also challenging yourself to question some of the stereotypes that may be already embedded in us, and then rethinking whether that's true or not. So I like that we started out with something that is a bit more fun, a bit more curious, and that's a good approach to start with. For example, in understanding people maybe that we don't know, or of things that maybe we've been told since we were young, but it's not true. So we have time to question that. Is it true that this stereotype fits this whole ethnic group, right? And how can we take on a more curious approach rather than a very strongly opinionated negative approach to something? So I like that we started with that. So I think that helps us in terms of a very practical navigation of meeting others and learning about others, whether it is learning a simple hi, hello, how are you, my name is so and so, how do we count to 10 in a different language, and then learning more about the deeper things, the deeper context of ethnic relations. Why is it that I was taught about, like, this is the stereotype of this particular ethnic group, and so I have to be careful about this, right? So then understanding what are those types of issues. And I think because we have like history students here, you can also learn what are the historical contexts that brought about this. So we also have political science students at the Kuliah. So these are opportunities for us to better understand what are the underlying issues that maybe attached to this understanding, and how can we as young people, or how can you as younger people work towards unpacking all of these issues, just like how we have TikTok videos about food, right? There are also opportunities for the younger generation to come up with content that actually explores with curiosity the different diversities of culture and understanding that we have. So the approach is more of a curious excitement rather than like a very cautious and fearful type of reaction to others. So I like that. Okay. So sorry, I've taken a bit more time. All right, so moving on to question number 4. We have this question from Brother Husama again. So welcoming back Brother Husama to reflect on Malaysia's journey to independence, going back in time again. So what are some of the lessons that students at IIUM can learn about this concept of unity and resilience? I think we always hear this word, resilience, in terms of the historical contributions of Muslims and other communities in our journey towards independence. So welcome back, Brother Osama.
Bismillah, thank you so much, Doctor, for the stick around. So, regarding this question, I believe that the most important lesson to be learned are about the student's sense of unity and this resilience is actually to address first the split among IUM students first. In my perspective as a first year or will be second year student in IUM, I could say that the majority of the students are from Malaysia. And one thing that we have to agree, unfortunately, is the majority of these students that are from Malaysia, they prefer to engage with one another over the international student. And I believe if we have to lessons that should we learn, especially as IIM student, is how do we have to tolerate and to have respect and have a curiosity to learn about other culture first, in order to shrink the split, the gap between the international and the local student. I'm not saying that all Malaysian students behave this way. No, because I have witnessed that there are some local students that have many friends with international, but unfortunately, the percentage remains too low. We can store that the Malaysian students always with each other, always, and the international student, of course, they are with the friends from either the same country or the same international, because maybe they're not trying to just become friendly with each international, but somehow maybe our perspective, or we have the tendency as a Malaysian student just to engaging with each other rather than try to get out from the box of the Malaysian, from the comfort zone, and instead try to have a understanding with the international student. And students at IUM come from a variety of countries. Either you came from Ghana, you came from Papua New Guinea, even though from Malaysia also, of course, Saudi Arabia, and many. And we should treat them with the same respect that we have for other Malaysian students. Not because that if they are international students, they are not same with us, we should not treat them properly. This, for example, if we can learn about how the leader, how the past leader that try to get independence as a unity, as a homogeneous country. So we have to try to apply this in IUM. It's a bit shameful, not a bit. It's a shameful display as a IUM student if we have the title as International Islamic University, but somehow we just we get a degree, we graduate just to have to engaging and learn with just with the same circle, not try to have maybe a dialogue with the international student. And I believe it would be useful to bridge the gap between the locals and the international student. Maybe, for example, we could say that one of initiative from the secretariats, the IRKHSSS, and maybe from the Kuliah ISIF to increase the participation of the international student in order to becoming a member of the committee of the secretariat, the society, or maybe to join and to serve also in the program committee. And this, I think, even though not all of the international students maybe have maybe wants to join, but at least this is the first step that should we have to develop, we have to make it creative, so they didn't feel that they have been a bit outcast. And I hope this my answering your question, Doctor. That's all for me. Thank you.
Thank you, Brother Usama. I really like your answer. And I think we can relate this also. Sometimes it's difficult for us, or maybe because we are the host country, right, to think about others and how it is for them. So perhaps some level of empathy can help us also in thinking that actually we are a host, and people are coming to they are our guests, right? So our friends who are coming from abroad, they have traveled in search of knowledge, right? They are fi sabilillah, have traveled sometimes very far away from their family in a country that maybe doesn't speak their mother tongue. They have had to learn a new language, they have to learn new cuisine, a different system of education. And so how do we treat them? So I know that sometimes our students maybe are just shy, or feel like maybe we are embarrassed to start a conversation. But think about it like we are hosting people, right? We have guests over, just like in the case of the Prophet ﷺ. During the time of the Prophet ﷺ, the Muhajir and the Ansar, right? How do you welcome others who have moved to come to your country to learn, and they are far away from people that they've known and whatever that is dear to them? So how do we want them to feel? But also at the same time, I think your university years are such precious years to make friends and to network. And being at IIUM gives you a really, really big luxury and privilege of knowing others from every part of the world. And for you to form linkages, bonds, and relationships and uhuwah beyond. For example, now you have a roommate from Kelantan and you're from Johor. So whenever you are in Kelantan, you have somebody there that you know, right? But imagine that your linkages and networks grow beyond Malaysia, that you have the capacity to work together on bigger projects. Say, for example, I work on child rights issues or issues of poverty, and I'm working in Malaysia, but I have a friend who's from Maldives. I have a friend who I met at university from Turkey, from Thailand, and we can grow the impact of our work, and the benefit of our amal can increase in a worldwide region. This is the ummatic kind of approach, right? That we build connections to emphasize and increase the impact of what we can do together in terms of our concept of rahmatan lil alamin. So that level of unity, sometimes when it doesn't have a purpose, it's hard to understand, why do I have to make friends? Why do I need to be nice to others, right? But also think about what are the potential benefits of that in terms of our purpose as Muslims, and also in terms of our akhirah, right? So just maybe a little bit of that. I really appreciated your response, Brother Husama. Okay, so moving along to question number 5, we are returning back to Brother Adlan. So considering the role of IUM, or this is very similar to what I just mentioned, in promoting Islamic values, how can the university contribute to ensuring fairness and equality, that we can uphold it within our society. So an extension to the first part of your question on Adalah also, right? So please, Brother Adlan.
Bismillah, thank you to Dr. Fatima again for giving me the question. That for me, this question is very close to us as students and lecturers and also staff of IUM, because IUM especially exactly has a significant role in promoting Islamic values because of its name, the name IUM itself, International of Islamic University in Malaysia. Yeah. So because as we know that this university's mission is Islamization, which is summed up into the phrase triple IC, right? Integration, Islamization, internationalization, and comprehensive excellence. And yes, with the sustainable of implementation these agendas, triple IC, it can uh, contribute effectively for me to ensure justice, fairness, and equality in Malaysian society. And for me, there are several segments that I would like to touch on, which is, in my opinion, are the roads that have been and are being explored by the entire IM community. And I want to brought the first thing and the first segment is the education implemented in IUM is based on Islamic values. And while IUM managed to play a role in producing graduates who not only excel in academics, like my fellow panelists, Brother Daniel and Brother Usama, but also understand and practice the principle of fairness, equality, and compassion contained in Islamic teaching. Why I say this, because the curriculum at our university is comprehensive and combines the worldly knowledge or ilmu duniawi lah we call it, and with the Sharia principle of Islamic perspective and so on. When if we look at the courses available in the section university core courses such as UNGS, when we learn about basic philosophy of Islamic worldview and civilization, contemporary fiqh issues, and so on. Also in Isra in action, tilawah Al-Quran. So this is for me. This is also admit that there are deficiencies in this aspect of understanding the content that we can discuss and debate more, whether it is a weakness from the academic staff also or themselves or the course management itself, which can burden workload of the students or any other related things that who take lightly the need to appreciate the essence of the content when we learn the core courses of our university. But at least we have all been provided and introduced with the knowledge related to this praiseworthy Islamic values, because when we in class we learn and the lecturers told us and try to make us understand and practice all the values or the perspective or Islam perspective, the secular one and Islamic and so on. So uh, actually we hope all the students to understand deeply and feel interested to bring the values and showcase the values in terms of their actions in daily life. And I see that IUM graduates, most of them can be agent of change in society by practicing these principles in their professional and social life. And we can observe it for ourselves, IUM alumni who have given a lot to the community, and whether they work in unknown fields or influencers such as we know Brother Amin Idris or Seribu Sama Mufti Perlis, Dr. Asri, or Minister of Religion Dr. Naim, and Dr. Zamri, our KPT minister, and so on. All of them has contribute and bring a new wine based on the compassion and justice in their respective fields for me. And let's all try to be like them in benefiting others using our advantages, regardless our courses, our departments, our specialization of we call us our specialization in our study. And if we look to the other hand, IUM can also encourage in-depth research in issues related to social justice, such as human rights and equality and so on, because the university indeed is a research center that can nurture this positive value idea with a contemporary approach, condescending practices that fits the context, suit with the context of our society nowadays. Not only IUM, but also other universities, because all the universities are the institute of research, because we have lecturer that will produce more and more articles and more journal and papers to being used to the industry and so on, or the laws that related to that lah. Which the result of this research is also can be used to provide recommendation and policies based on Islamic values to the government or maybe NGOs with injustice in society. Then many things can and have been debated, such as gender equity, laws, human rights, economic inequality, and so on, which this requires a strong network between the institute of study at the university and also the authorities involved, so that it can be utilized uh, more and well. And I'm with the emphasis on the concept of Iqra, because we know we practicing the Iqra and Khalifa, which is upheld by IUM, which is the higher phrase. We have a Khalifa and Amanah, Iqra and Rahmatul Alamin. So this is for me should be practiced consistently by a citizen, by ourselves as a community of IUM, and to promote it uh, to our community in Gombak and so on, when we spread to the community in Malaysia. And if you want to touch on this community engagement, for me, IUM has champion in it, because yeah, we have the sense of and the clubs under it that focus on community service to different social backgrounds, which are engagement with orang asli, orphans, school students, and more. And I believe one of maybe part of us are contributing and contribute for these clubs, which is if I want to give an example such as Akhi Club, Jasa, and more lah, kan, in the sense of club. Then and when I realized that there are many programs that are carried out by them and can be made, such as assistance to underprivileged, motivational camps, leadership, free legal advice, and help, which can help in ensuring that justice is accessible to all levels of society, especially the marginalized. And through all of this, I remember a piece of a hadith narrated by Jabir bin Abdullah from the Prophet ﷺ, Khairun Nas anfa'uhum linnas, or Khairun Nas man yanfa'un nas, which means the best of people are those who benefit people's other. Or in the another hadith from Abdullah bin Umar said that ahabban nas ilallahi anfa'uhum linnas, which means the people most loved by Allah SWT are those who benefit mankind. So this is what we have to practice in our life, and through this approach, IIUM include us can act as an intellectual and moral center that promote Islamic values such as all the values I stated before in the complex of Malaysian society, which this effort for me must be continuously consistent, and together we develop ourselves and work together, staff, students, to ensure that this effort continues with full disciplines and good values, and with the sincere coincidence or sincere intention to help, as well as we showcase and promote the Islamic values that we learned throughout our studies in this garden of knowledge and virtue, which is to be a true ambassador of IIM and Islam itself. So I think that's all from me for this question. I hope will answer the question given, and we have to realize that the role of promoting Islamic values is come from us firstly, and then we have to work together in make them to be high impact to all of the society, especially our Malaysia. Thank you. I will pass that to Dr. Fatima.
MashaAllah, a lot of good reminders, Brother Adlan. I'm also an IIUM alumni. I also did my undergraduate at IIUM. And I think one of the things that I think when you are a student at the time, you may take it for granted, or you might not know what the value of being in IIUM is yet. And I think one of the wonderful things that happens in the learning process is knowledge that is imparted by your teachers, right? I think sometimes we don't appreciate this so much. And maybe we cannot understand what our teachers are telling us, and we don't realize it until much later. And I can attest to this as a fellow alumni. Things that I learned in class maybe more than a decade ago are things that I reflect on today and only make sense today or have meaning today. So I think we all can be grateful that we are surrounded by knowledgeable teachers who have a sense of purpose also in terms of being Muslims and having clear foundation. So these are things that we don't see its value yet, but it contributes to who we are becoming and who we may become in the future. So maybe something that you cannot remember now that I'm saying this, but hopefully in the future, as you go through life, you will suddenly remember something your lecturer says, or you've learned in class, or you've discussed here, or you've heard at this forum that you remember, oh, I remember this point. And it makes sense then. So that's the value of being in a knowledge circle and also being part of where knowledge is shared. So as you are young, build this type of culture that you're always around people of knowledge and that you are always in circles of knowledge, and continue this culture so that you can, have that opportunity later on. So thank you, Brother Adlan. So we are a little bit behind time, but we have one last question for Brother Daniel. Okay. So in terms of things that are practical also, right? What are some of the ways that IIM students can foster a sense of unity despite our diversity and differences, and in thinking about our Islamic principles relating to respect, harmony, and also other cultures in Malaysia and perhaps even beyond?
Okay. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Thank you again to Dr. Fatima. Okay. All right. So the question is, in what ways, can IIM students foster a sense of unity despite diversity, drawing on Islamic principles of respect and harmony with other cultures? Okay. So from a social approach, fostering unity amidst diversity at IIUM involves understanding how social structures, group dynamics, and cultural norms influence interactions among students. Okay, So here's how IIUM students can promote unity while drawing on Islamic principles. Okay, first, we could encourage social integration to promote inclusivity. Right, we can encourage students to engage in various social groups and activities beyond their own cultural or national boundaries. Right, so we can create some activities that can make us share our culture to other cultures, okay, so that we can know and acknowledge about other cultural other cultures, okay, about their activities in their cultures and all, okay. So this integration can help individuals from diverse backgrounds build connections and share identities. Okay, so we as IIUM students are so lucky to be in IIUM because we can easily bump into uh, people from another culture and ask them about their cultures. Okay, only us that can make it um, doable. Okay, can make it happen. If we don't let it happen, then it might not be happen. So we must be open and share our own culture to others. Okay, and also feel free to ask. Okay, those who are from another cultures, different cultures, ask them about their cultures. Okay, what are their activities? Okay, how do they do this, do that? Okay, share about our culture. Okay, like for example, how we celebrate our festivals, and also ask them about how they celebrate their festivals, okay, so that we can know and acknowledge not just about us but also them. Okay, from we acknowledge about them and also we give them the knowledge of our culture, that is how we can unite as one culture, okay, to assimilate or to gather our information, okay, to unite between us, okay, for us to better understand them and they can understand us. That's how our cultural differences can unite and be in peace and harmony. All right. Okay, so to further elaborate, we can also promote cross-cultural socialization by facilitating interactions through structured programs like intercultural workshops or mixed group projects. Okay, so yes, as I mentioned, we are lucky to have other students from other countries or other culture. So when doing like programs or assignments, you can involve students from other cultural backgrounds to join you. Okay, not just involve them but encourage them. Okay, because you must understand people from other culture from yeah, you understand that those who are from other countries that come to us um, to unite with us, it's not an easy thing. Okay, it's not easy for them to approach us and to be not to be like us but to understand us. Okay, we as locals and we as Malaysian, we need to encourage them to learn about us. Okay, encourage them to share about them. Okay, so that is how we can unite between both of us. Okay, so okay, these interactions can break down like any stereotypes, okay, and foster understanding. Okay, so based on these points, okay, so if we help them to understand us, if we help them to unite with us, then all of those things or bad things, okay, that people thought about other cultures or maybe our culture can be break down. Okay, um, can make them wrong about that. All right. So yes, we can follow the guidance of Islamic principle like muasat, which means mutual support, to guide these interactions. All right. So I might continue to my other points. Okay. Furthermore, we can do support community building. Can encourage the formation of interest-based groups that bring together students with common interest backgrounds. regardless of their cultural backgrounds. Okay, so these groups can serve as a foundation for building friendships and understanding across diverse cultural lines. Okay, so this can also promote self-awareness and reflexivity among students. All right. Okay, so we can also encourage them to reflect on their own biases and understand how their social backgrounds shape their perspectives. Okay, from all of these points, okay, will align with Islamic values of self-improvement and humility. Right. So yes, we must encourage them. Okay, that is the most important thing. Okay, we can encourage them to involve with us. Okay, so there are no biases among because they come here and they have their own hardships to be here. Okay, because they might think about many negative things. Okay, like how can they will overthink too much about that. Okay, like how can they be with other cultures, how can they learn about the culture? So you need to open it. Okay, you need to encourage it, not just you understand them and they understand you and you just let that happen. Okay, understanding each other is important, but encouragement, encouraging other peoples to do to learn about you, okay, to involve, to be part of you is important as well, to unite. Okay, because yes, I'm focusing on how we can unite, okay, for us to respect each other. Okay, that is important. All right, so by leveraging these strategies, okay, with these social strategies and also the Islamic perspective, the Islamic principles, so IIUM students can foster a more inclusive and unified campus environment, embracing the richness of their diversity while nurturing mutual respect and harmony. Okay, so that's all about my point just now. But I have a suggestion, okay, for you, which is, we're nearly like 3 days, okay, until our celebration of Independence Day. So for us to foster a sense of unity, okay, amidst diversity. All right. So my suggestion, we can do activities, okay, like just now I gave a point about do some activities with them, okay, encourage them to be part of us. Okay, so yes, we have only 3 days until Independence Day. So as an IIUM students, you can also invite them to join you. Okay, spend some time to celebrate our Independence Day. Okay, bring them to the parade. Okay, watch all the marching and all the celebrations of Independence Day. Let them feel the breeze of living in this harmonious society, in this harmonious country. Okay, which when you show them the celebration of our Independence Day, okay, during at the Merdeka parade, okay, so you let them open their eyes about, oh, this is how we celebrate Merdeka, and this is who involved in achieving independence in Malaysia. Okay, because during the parade, the Independence Day celebration, we can see like the militaries, okay, the all of the uniforms people, okay, we're marching there, and also we can see our leaders there. Okay, so we can explain to them, let them be part of us. Okay, let them know about, oh, this is Malaysia, this is about this. Okay, so you can share about maybe something about history, okay, something about this this latest thing. Okay, yes, you can bring them there. Okay, if you don't have the opportunity or don't have time to go to a parade, okay, then you can maybe ask them to join you, watch it on YouTube. Okay, as now we can easily access a YouTube live or Facebook live. Okay, and also the television. Okay, I believe, of course, we have the live broadcast of the Merdeka celebration. Okay, so ask them to involve with you. Okay, show not just your appreciation to our country, but also their appreciation to live in this diverse country, right? And also for us to better appreciate who fought for what we have today, and also to learn, okay, to better acknowledge how we could live and have a chance to live in this peace and harmonious society. Okay, so I believe that marks the end of my speech now. Okay, sorry for taking much of your time. So thank you so much. I pass this back to our moderator, Dr. Fatimah. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Daniel. Very encouraging words to get us going to join the celebration in 3 days time on Saturday, right? Inshallah. So yeah, I think because of the pandemic, some of us maybe have not been joining any of the Merdeka celebrations for a few years. So this is also maybe a reminder to come and join the spirit also. I think before we close off, we're just a few minutes and open the floor for questions. Maybe if you have some questions to type, you can start typing while I want to highlight one elephant in the room that I think the panelists did not highlight yet. Although we have addressed the diversity in Malaysia and also differences in culture among Malaysians and international IIUM students, I think one elephant in the room that we didn't address is how homogeneous we are in IUM as being Muslims, right? And mostly Malay students are the majority of IUM students. But in Malaysia, there are also other ethnic groups and other religious belief systems, and also people coming from different ethnic groups in Malaysia. And maybe what we have not done yet enough at IUM is extending our hand to collaborate more and have more activities with Malaysians of other ethnic groups and other religion, right? So maybe it is good that there are a lot of student leaders here from IRKHS to think about what can we do next in terms of, you know, reaching out and also showing compassion and exercising harmony and respect in justice, for example, in terms of understanding those who are Malaysians that are maybe not Muslims and Malays. So what are our roles there? So while do we have questions, or does anyone want to switch on their mic to ask questions or make comments or have like Merdeka wishes? I don't know. I think it's open. As a moderator, I'm open for it, not just questions. So maybe you can, I don't know if the organizers are going to be angry at me, but yeah, if you have a Merdeka wish, you can also switch on your mic to make a wish. Yeah. So go for it. Who wants to go? You can give feedback. Feels like class, huh? When I ask any questions. So now the panelists has this experience, and you ask questions and you're waiting. Are there questions? truly a reminder. Yeah, you should say something, you know, or ask a question. Put your friend on the spot. I'm sure there are Adlan, Husama, and Daniel's friends here. No questions? Maybe representative for other departments who are not on the panelist. You may have things to add from your, you know, from your specialization. The mic is one click away. Is it? Say Daniel said now. So, who are friends with Adlan and Daniel? Show some support. Give a Merdeka wish at least. Or maybe switch on your mic to say good job to my friend. Okay, I think the time now is 6:45 in through maybe the short semesters made you all a little bit maybe like frozen a little bit. It's okay. You have a few more weeks to warm up for the semesters to start in October. So you're more excited to ask questions when you come back, right? In all seriousness, though, I think there have been very important lessons for us to learn throughout this session, and I hope that you have taken back, or you are able to take back some reflections and some thoughts about how you want to go ahead, right? The first start is always ourselves, and how we benefit first from this, and how we can make sense of all of these conversations today, so that we can then think about how we improve ourselves, and then how we can also benefit others. So I think one of the key takeaways is also to relearn our history and independence in the context of being a tertiary education youth student, right? And what that independence means for us and for you, and also understanding our roles as Muslims, and understanding the values that are embedded within our Islamic faith and value system and ethics and morality also. And then also thinking about really practical ways of reaching out to people, because if we just keep it inside of us and don't actually apply it, then we're not benefiting society, and we cannot be among those who are most beloved, because then we cannot expand on that, right? So it's really trying to make sure that we understand our history and the gravity and value of that history, but also in terms of how it benefits the future and what we can actively actually do today, tomorrow, and in the future. So I think with that, thank you so much to our panelists. You've done all very well, so congratulations. I've really enjoyed myself throughout the session. So thank you to the organizers for inviting me. I am returning back the floor to Sister Aino.
All right. Thank you so much, Dr. Fatima, for your amazing wrap up of this whole session, and as well to all the panelists, all three brothers here. Now, as we are reaching the end, Alhamdulillah, thank you to everyone for making this event possible. And then now I'd like to ask all of you to turn on your cameras if you're still there, and also use the background provided so that we can have a little online photography session. We'll give you around 2 minutes to prepare.
Just waiting a minute. If anyone else want to join, just open the camera. Okay, first formal first. Okay. So smile. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Last formal. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so freestyle. Style. 1, 2, 3. Okay, wait. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Again, smile. Freestyle, 1, 2, 3. Okay, last. Freestyle, 1, 2, 3. All right, thank you.
Right, thank you so much everyone for your cooperation. Now, before you leave, do scan the QR code right on the screen for your attendance and as well as to give feedback. This attendance form is necessary for your attendance as well as your star points. So there's no point if you were here this whole time if you did not fill this up. So please do so.
There is a point. Inshallah, knowledge is beneficial, but still get your city, still get your star points.
And if you're done, you may leave the Google Meet. Right. Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much for being here. And we can end with Tasbih Kafara and Surah Al-Asr.
Thank you, everybody. Assalamualaikum.
Waalaikumsalam. Thank you, Doctor.
Thank you, Doctor. Thank you,
Salam,
everyone.
thank you
Wish
so
you
much.
selamat Hari
Thank you,
Merdeka.
everyone.
Thank you, Doctor and speakers.
Selamat
Thank
Hari
you, Dr.
Ustaz,
Thank
Hari
you.
Merdeka.
Selamat Hari Merdeka.
Thank you everyone for joining us.
Thank you, everyone.
Selamat Merdeka.
Semoga khair.